Okay, so you're gonna want to load it. It's live right now, so you mute it. But this on
call the meeting to order at 7:02. We'll start with signing the chairman's seat. Stephanie, can you please pass that around? We'll go on to approval of the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
I would like to make a motion to add a special presentation by Joseph Williams, Secretary of Marty. It'll speak about the two-tier system of labor at the UC and the visa expansion as well.
Okay. Are there any other amendments to the agenda? I make motions, I'll go ahead and strike ASRF as well as the Academic Affairs Commissioner's Officer Report. Marvin? Okay. Jack?
I'm going to add a member report for community service commission.
Okay. I'll add it before administrative reports, after the formal president, so we include E. Okay, are there any other amendments to the agenda? Amy? Okay. Any other amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, I can entertain a motion. Zach?
I'm going to go through the agenda as amended.
Is there a second? Second by Ariel. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those against? And those abstained? To a 10-0-0 vote, the agenda has been approved as amended. You do have one proxy today, so you can introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Zoya.
Okay. Next up, we have approval of the minutes from April 12th. I can entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I approve I make a motion to approve the minutes of April.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Zach. Any discussion regarding the minutes? Seeing none, we'll go into a vote. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those against? And those abstained? To a 10-0-0 vote, the minutes have been approved from April 12th. Next up, we have public comment for the public commenters in the room. The first round of public comment will be audio only, so on our USAC Live, the visual aid will be turned off and we'll only hear your voice. 2-minute public comment will be cut off at exactly 2 minutes. It's reserved for only members of the association, of the undergraduate association. And then the next round of public comment will be audio and visual. So we'll go ahead and do just audio only public comment.
Hi everyone, my name is Noel and I'm part of Amnesty International at UCLA. Amnesty International, for those of you who don't know, is a massive international NGO. And tomorrow, actually, the interim executive director of Amnesty International will be here, along with a bunch of cool activists and some celebs. So, and like human rights, it's a bunch of different things we'll be talking about on this flyer. So I'll just pass that now.
Thank you. Okay. So keep going for audio and public comment. Okay.
Is she going? No.
Okay, which we all pass it around. Perfect. Thank you.
Are you typing me or no?
Yeah, I'm having.
Starting now?
Yes. Whatever.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny Samai. I'm the Budget and Finance Coordinator for the second annual MLK Remembrance Day. So this is basically an event. It's a unique opportunity for us to storytell with staff, students, as well as faculty and alumni. Last year, this was approved with the resolution. I don't have that in that hard copy, but the USAC approved the resolution to recognize the fourth Tuesday of every month as UCLA MLK Remembrance Day. We're initially looking for funding just to fund K through 12 students to come here, specifically 4th and 5th graders via transportation with a bus. We're also looking to fund Mizzou students to come out here because they will be speaking on a panel. So this is just an opportunity for us to learn as a UCLA student community to talk about certain issues, such as CTE through the film streaming of Concussion, which Will Smith started. And we want to talk about these issues because we believe it's the right space to do so with MLK, as well as his legacy with Black Bruin athletes, as well as student athletes of color as well. So just a quick example connection with that, Jackie Robinson was one of the first people, the first athletes, to actually approach Dr. King about activism and how to promote advocacy among his community. So we're kind of using that. There's many other examples I could go into, but we're using this as like a platform to talk about these issues. And also with the film screening of concussion, an African doctor had discovered the disease of CTE, which is a trauma that happens to athletes, repeated head trauma. And throughout it, it was actually dismissed. We also want to use this as a platform to teach students about African people, as well as African American people of descent. So we hope that you guys look into this and take consideration. It's a unique opportunity for us to storytell, engage our UCLA community about over 5,000 people attended last year. We want to amp those numbers up again. We can only do so with the right funding and support. Thank you very much.
So Heather, can you go ahead and turn on USAC Live? So go ahead and do our second round of public comment for audio and visual. Okay, seeing no more public commenters in the room, I close public comment at 7:08. Next up, we have our special presentation on two-tier system of the UC. So if you two want to come up to the front of the room, and you will have 15 minutes for your special presentation. I'll let you know you have about 12 minutes left, followed by 5 minutes of questions from the council. Thank you.
Hey everybody, so my name is Joseph Williams. I work for ASPE 3299, which is a union that represents workers all throughout the UC system. We have around 8,000 or so workers here at UCLA. It's our biggest concentration of workers. We're here today to talk about the two-tier system of labor throughout the UC, which is basically one, there are direct UC employees who work for direct employees of the University of California system. And then there are subcontracted employees who work for private contractors. Frank Lombardi is a worker, a cook here at UCLA, and he's going to talk a little bit about his experiences as a worker and also about the expansion that's coming at UCLA and why it's really important that we make sure that these jobs are correct UC jobs and not subcontracted jobs.
My name is Frank Lombardi. I'm a cook at Cobell. Thank you for having me. So I'm a Mac. Shop steward for our union. So I'm here to talk to you guys about the importance of the union and why we need living wages. I was fortunate enough to come into UCLA 2 years ago with the opportunity to make really good money to support my son, my wife, and to build a future for them. The opportunity to have a pension, something to retire with in the future. We think it's unfair for workers that are in the future not to be able to receive those same benefits. That's exactly what Joseph was talking about. It's a setup of two-tier, which would create a huge divide, not only between the workers, but I think a huge divide in the UCLA campus. I mean, we all agree that living wage is really important. And so today we met with some people at the Lesson Center, and they don't really see it that way. You know, they're not really giving us a straight answer. We're really trying to get a straight answer of will all our jobs be union. And so we have yet to get a full confirmation in writing about that. So again, we just really want your support. We work really hard. I know at Cobell, we work really hard to serve you guys. We love serving you guys. We come to work every day to do a good job for you guys because we have the security of a pension. We know that we'll have a job tomorrow. So in order to continue this great job in the Lesson Center and other places throughout UCLA, it's kind of a two-way street, you know what I'm saying? By supporting us, we support you by giving you great food, a great place to come and study, and be able to be great whatever you guys are doing in your setting.
So does everybody know what the Luskin Center is? Yeah. So for those of you that don't, Luskin Center is a big, it's a new expansion that they're constructing, or it should be finished construction now. It's supposed to be opening in the summer. It's a big hotel and conference center. And basically, so the university has told us thus far is that all these jobs are going to be union jobs. However, which is great news. However, they told us the same thing up at UCSF Mission Bay, which is a big expansion to the UCSF campus. They told us beforehand, all these jobs are going to be union jobs, you guys don't have to worry about it. And when they opened, they were all subcontracted. None of those jobs were union jobs. And so like Frank was talking about, so the difference between union jobs and subcontractor jobs. Did anybody hear about what recently happened at Berkeley, the speakers boycott and workers who just got insourced? So basically there were around 100 workers at 3 different companies who were private companies. They were outsourced by the university to do essentially the same job that direct UC employees do. These workers were custodians, they were parking attendants on UC Berkeley's campus. And so these 3 companies had a number of different labor issues. One of them had a documentary published about them called Rape on the Night Shift, because many of their workers, both on UC campuses and throughout the country, have been subjected to rape by their supervisors. And because a bunch of these people are people of color, they're immigrants, they're predominantly women, they're afraid for their jobs, and so they don't report these things, right? But the university knew about all of this. They ignored it for many, many months. Another one of these companies was forcing workers to work under fake names and social security numbers, so they wouldn't have to give them benefits, they wouldn't have to pay them overtime they deserve, they wouldn't have to pay them all the money for the hours that they worked. So these are all things that are happening whenever the university uses subcontracted labor. So with direct employees, like I said, they're directly employed by the university has direct oversight over them. Whenever the university employs these subcontracted companies, they can say, oh, well, those aren't our employees, we don't know what's going on, we don't know what's happening with them, it's not our responsibility. And so recently, the university published a new labor plan where they said that, oh, we just found out what's happening with all these contracted workers, how much they're getting paid, et cetera, et cetera. So in 2014, last year, 2015, they raised the wages for all direct and contracted employees to $13 an hour. They're supposed to raise it to 14 this year and 15 in 2017. However, like happened at Berkeley and like I'm sure is happening here as in other places, the majority of workers who are in those contracted companies aren't receiving those wages. Because even though the university said that and put that plan out there, they're not enforcing it. And these companies, like I said, there's no oversight from the university, so it's essentially up to them whether they want to pay the workers more or not. So there were workers at Berkeley who weren't even making the Berkeley City minimum wage. The Berkeley City minimum wage is over $11 right now because the cost of living up there is very high, as it is down here. But since the UC is, its own entity and it isn't a part of the Berkeley City, they're not, beholden by those laws. So there were companies on the UC who were paying their employees $9.30 an hour state minimum wage, even though the Berkeley City minimum wage is higher than that. So there are a lot of these issues where workers at subcontracting companies throughout the UC, at UCLA, and other campuses are being exploited, are being sexually abused, are experiencing wage theft, are experiencing discrimination based on their race, ethnicity, language, diverse language. So there are all these issues that we want to fix. We don't want to be, huge public university, one of the biggest employers in the state of California. We want to make sure that we're not replicating these systems of oppression and exploitation that we see everywhere. Like I said, these people are predominantly women, predominantly people of color, predominantly immigrants. And so it's just, like I said, replicating the same exploitation and oppression that we see everywhere. And as UCLA and as UC Berkeley and as this entire UC system, which is supposed to be, the flagship system of the state, which is one of the most, progressive states in the country, we should really be fighting to make sure that everyone who works on our campus, to make our campuses run, is paid a living wage and is making enough so that they can support their families. They're not having to work 2 and 3 jobs. They're not facing sexual abuse on campus, all these different things. So that's what we're working for at Luskin here on campus and also throughout the rest of the UC. So that's basically it. I have a sign-in sheet here for anybody who's interested in getting more information about labor issues or who's interested in being involved and stuff like that. I don't know if you all have seen recently, there have been a bunch of actions by the workers, basically about this issue because, like I said, the university has told us, oh, these jobs are all going to be union, but they told that to us at different places numerous times before, and then since they didn't put it in writing, once they opened it up, they made it all contracted jobs, and those people are continuing to be paid poverty wages without benefits, being exploited, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the situation here. We just wanted to let you all know about that, and that we may potentially be asking your support in the near future. Like with what happened at Berkeley, there was ERA AS up there, passed a resolution in support of the boycott, passed a resolution in support of insourcing workers, as well as UCSA, passed a resolution in support of insourcing workers throughout the UC system, and passed and also endorsed SB 959, which is a bill which is in the Senate Appropriations Committee right now, which would make sure that the university either insources their workers or make sure that all of their contractors pay their workers a living wage. So yeah, if any of y'all are interested in getting involved, or if any of you have any questions, please sign up, or if you have questions, ask us now.
Let's first give a round of applause. so we'll go ahead into 5 minutes of questions from the council. Does any council members have any questions? Yeah.
My question is, what is the sort of timeline on this issue here on our campus? Because I know the lesson center is opening, I've heard as early as August. So when would they start hiring workers? When would they need to put something in writing? How much time would it have, I guess, to mobilize?
It's a great question. I just got out of a meeting this morning with them, and honestly, they don't know. And as union members, we're kind of dumbfounded to the fact that in August, we're opening up, and they can't tell us like, who's going to be sweeping the floors and who's going to be planting flowers. So we feel that this is a strategy just to drag it out, and then at the last minute, like Joseph was saying, boom, put it on there. And like you guys here, I mean, us in the union, we feel that our democratic voice is important, and we feel that we should be heard, and we have the right to be heard, and so that we feel that this is an important issue because we're on the ground and we see like the students, you guys know what's going on in campus, so you guys come here to discuss the issue. You guys have a democratic voice to change stuff. The same thing with us, and they're fighting very hard to take that away from us. So we want to be able to retain our voice on the job to continue to look out for our medicine.
And so we started accepting applications, I think April 1st. But like Frank was saying, they haven't told us how many positions there are for all these different job classifications, or exactly what job classifications there are. There are a number of members who would like to transfer over there, who have worked, on campus here for a number of years, and would like to, if they have the opportunity to transfer over there because it's closer to their home, things like that. But the university isn't telling us any type of information about any of that. They're saying, we don't know, and yet they're accepting applications and planning to open, in a couple of months. So, like Frank said, we don't think they're telling us everything they know, and it's happening in other places where they've done this until the very end, installed. And so, like you guys said, they're trying to open in the summer, when students are gone. And so they do that very strategically for a reason, so that students can't respond, so that students can't, rise up and say this isn't right. We don't want poverty jobs on our campus. We don't want, workers to be exploited and abused on our campus. But they wait until you all leave so that they can say, we can do whatever we want while they're not here. And then by the time, the next quarter comes around, it's going to be too late.
One of the issues we brought up are people who are like 75%ers, so that they're not fully invested. They've been working here 20 years, and all they want is a 100% position, and they won't even give us a straight answer of will those people be able to roll into full-time position. As far as the university is concerned, they'd rather bring someone in who's newer, who is younger, which is totally wrong, and we feel that's not fair. People here really want to be able to stay in the UCLA, in the UC system, and we're proud of it here. We're really, really proud of it here.
Let me talk about one more question. Any other questions from council? Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Where's that sign? Entry is over there.
I got it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll go ahead on to our next agenda item. So we have no appointments this week. Just as a heads up to everyone here, our community activities committee, we had another student withdraw from UCLA for the quarter, so we'll be filling out one more vacancy for that position. The student did withdraw from UCLA, so if you're not a student at UCLA, it's not serving your position any longer. So we'll go ahead and forward another appointment for that to act in the intern for the rest of this year. We'll go ahead then on to officer member reports. So there's the president. So last week I met with the UCLA registrar Frank Wada and a couple of members of his team regarding possibility of dead days before finals. We talked a lot about various alternatives that we can do, having days off, having breaks, and ensuring that we're empowering students toward academic success by either making as much time available to study or having a break from when new material is taught, or making sure that that Thursday, Friday, we're going to have no more assignments to do unless it is a final and move the final. So there are a couple of alternatives being thrown up in the air. I will be meeting hopefully with the undergraduate council regarding curriculum-based changes. To know that advancements are being made on our staff front. I also met with the UCLA Political Science Board of Visitors, which is the board of directors for alumni, and talked a little bit about USAC. They're very curious about what USAC does. They're also very interested in our election cycle and what elections look like every single year. As political scientists, they're very interested to see how kind of a party system works with independent candidates and how it is very similar to elections in a small town or in another area. So they're very curious about USAC, a little bit of our history and stuff. So it's kind of great to talk to some academic folks about the Undergrad Students Association Council. I had the opportunity to speak at Bruin Day. It was such an incredible opportunity to speak in front of 6,000 or 7,000 students, potential students. I went immediately after the chancellor and talked a bit about how UCLA, they're a large public research institution, and because of that, we have so many opportunities for people to get involved and opportunities for us to empower ourselves to make a change in the United States in the world. More so than just administrators or faculty telling us what to do, more so providing us with the opportunities for us to make a difference. Additionally, we did have flyers that gave out all the tour guides about USAC, and we also had downstairs in St. Patty's House, we had the beautiful big banner that I hope some of you saw either on Thursday or Friday before Bruin Day. We were educating students about USAC, so if anyone who's interested in student government got some information. Yesterday, I met with Raja, the director of the LGBTQ Center, about HB2, which is the anti-LGBTQ, anti-trans initiatives that was passed in North Carolina. It was passed in about 12 hours. This is information I didn't know. It was passed in 12 hours without really any discussion about the legislation. And basically, it said that the restroom you use has to be labeled by the gender that is on your birth certificate. So this is obviously such an issue for trans-identifying individuals. And another horrible part about it is they are placing it on the idea that cisgender women are upset that trans-identifying individuals are using the same restroom, which is essentially creating a wedge between two oppressed underserved communities. And so I talked to Raja a little bit about what UCLA can do, what UC students can do to show our support for students in North Carolina. And as well, this legislation is popping up as a potential in about 5 other states too. And so we really, as student activists and as student leaders, want to provide as much support as possible. So I'll keep you all updated about what is kind of going on forward in those efforts. But you know it's on the radar, and we really do want to make sure we're trying to support. Especially, it's so interesting to think like University of North Carolina is another huge public institution. We often consider that to be very much so our counterpart. The rate's kind of the same, but very similar constituent student body, and they are living under these conditions that are in place by their state legislature. So I'll keep you all updated. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to attend a Jewish Federation event and be a panelist. Talked a little bit about Jewish life on campus, talked a little bit about USAC, about student government. So it's great to stay in touch with our local communities. Today I met with Chris Powell, who is acting as the intern assistant director for the UCLA Career Center. So Chris Powell and I actually partnered together. The Daily Bruin did an article on the Brown Traverse Program, which is an entity used to research DC-based jobs or other jobs in other states. For anything related to public service, related to government, related to private or related to public entities. It was great to have that resource expanded. We actually had Bob Michaels, who was a former USAC student body president, fund this program, so it wasn't dipping into other Career Center resources, but was a private donation. Today we met a little bit about the internship engagement chairperson. Unfortunately, because it is ending the end of the year, that person will only be in their position for a couple of months. So hopefully the next USAC president will be putting forward an appointment for that. But that infrastructure has been created, and thank you all again for willing to support that bylaw change and to add that appointment. Within the Career Center, they have their IPA, which is their Internship Peer Advocates Program. Which works to research job opportunities and internship opportunities for students on campus. There are students just like us. There's about 6 or 7 of them that spend a lot of their day researching opportunities for other students. So it's great to see students kind of helping students in regards to this, especially because internships are so important. It often has to be difficult to find if you don't exactly know where you're looking or what you're looking for. So we talked a little bit about how USAC can better partner with the Career Center on the IPA initiative. So hopefully either through the next financial sports commissioner, the next student body president, or the other entity that has relationships with the Career Center can help improve those relationships and show more student body support for the Career Center and their initiatives. Today I also met with USAC President Bob Michaels, who's on campus. Jamie was able to attend the meeting, talk a little bit more, kind of continue the conversation of what I had with Chris Howe about internship programs. Bob Michaels has been such a supporter to making sure internship opportunities are available for students, as well as show that there is a student need for it. Oftentimes, there ends up being this kind of stigma that internships are really only valuable for business students, but in reality, internship experience is so important to all undergraduate majors, North Campus, South Campus, and all over. And so it's great to know that we have such great allies that are past UCLA alumni that want to come back and still give back to us. As well, Zach was probably touched on this in his officer report, but Bob Michaels has been a very generous supporter of USAC initiatives. And then just about an hour ago, I had an opportunity to meet with Roy and Patty regarding the student-led food co-op on campus. So just to remind everyone, we did pass a resolution. I had my presentation to ASUCLA Services Committee, I believe it was in February, towards the end of February. And so we were following up regarding space possibilities. So ASUCLA has definitely been making an effort and recognizes the importance of finding a space on campus to support food security, to find a location for stores for the bulk buy and build the student food collective, to buy produce and fresh materials at a lower cost price, as well as have a facility for students to meet and discuss issues around food security, providing resources regarding nutrition, regarding food affordability, different resources to have those all in one centralized location. So we're exploring some options, possibly in Kirkhoff. We are looking into different spaces that we can possibly incorporate the student-led food co-op, so it would be available for students. And that is the end of my kind of long officer report. I apologize for that. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing that, we'll move on to our internal vice president.
All right, I will start off with some very exciting news. Yesterday, Professor Abigail Sagai agreed to teach a body positive course in spring 2017, which is really, really huge. I'm really excited that this is being prioritized within academia. Over the course of this year, we've been meeting with Dr. Liz Gongai to develop different curriculum ideas, how we can make it a dynamic learning process for students. What are the most pressing issues regarding body image on a college campus and how we can work together to address those issues. I've also reached out to Body Image Task Force to see how we can collaborate in the future. There will be obviously a long time before the class is actually being taught. And so we are looking into, it's going through the USAC process right now, but if it is or is not approved, doesn't really matter because she wants to teach it anyways. So I'm really looking forward to that. It would be a 1-unit course taught by students, which I think would be really beneficial because I think that you learn a lot from your peers and they can really relate to the experiences that you're going through. But regardless, Professor Sagai is an amazing woman. She has so many accomplishments within the realm of body image and body positivity. And so I'm really looking forward to that. It's very exciting. And last week, Ian and I met with Marco Perez and Ramona Cortez from Government Relations in regards to lighting in the North Village, just kind of strategizing who we need to talk to. And tomorrow we're actually going to be meeting with a representative from Paul Cook's office to touch base with them in regards to what the status update is on improving the LED lighting within the North Village. So I'll update you all on that next week. Tomorrow, the IBP office and the SOL office have collaborated to have a student networking workshop event that's going to be held tomorrow from 1 to 2 p.m. It's Ackerman 3517. So I hope that all of you that are involved in student organizations or have different networks are reaching out to them and inviting them to this event, because I think that at this time right now, leadership positions are being transitioned over, and in order to start the collaboration, it's so important for student leaders to know who the leaders are going to be for next year. And so I'm hoping that this event allows for that collaboration to start as early as possible. And just a heads up, I'm going to be changing the IBP bylaws. I'm going to be emailing Ian. I'm going to be adding a few things to my bylaws, and Ian will update you all with that. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead to our external vice president.
The biggest thing this week was the student lobby conference, which was a huge success. We had approximately 40 delegates, the biggest delegation to the conference. I got a lot of feedback from legislators and their staff that our delegates were incredibly professional and articulate, and were strong advocates on the issues we were working on. The principal issue we was in 2017. Basically generates up to $40 million for mental health services across public higher education in the state, which is great. It means we get to hire more counselors, more diverse counselors, and begin solving some of the major issues we have with our mental health services. Across our delegation, we had 26 meetings, 5 of which I attended personally. I met with Senator Ricardo Lara and Senator Isidore Hall, and the staff of Sebastian Thomas, Ed Hernandez, Ian Calderon. And on my way to the assembly member, there was a bomb threat. There was an actual bomb in the Capitol, so we all had to get evacuated. But luckily, I met with the assembly member on Saturday, actually, for the Clinton event, randomly got a chance to chat with us. So that's pretty much my week.
Okay, are there any questions for the external vice president?
Oh, wait, one more thing. The bill that we worked on the next day passed out of the higher ed committee and going to appropriations that the assembly floor. We're feeling very good about it passing the assembly.
All right, any questions? Okay, we'll go ahead to our community service commissioner.
After the meeting, I'll send out the application. Annually, we have the Starving Michaels award and service each year. So something that Heather touched on in her report was sort of the generosity of Bob Michaels and everything he's given to USAC and the university. And that includes the scholarship fund that was started years ago in honor of John Sarby, who was a community service commissioner and then USAC president, and then went on to do a lot of great work for a city year in the community. And so when he passed away, the scholarship was sort of formed in his honor, and it has been funded by Bob Michaels over the past few years. So last year it was changed to Sarby Michaels Leadership and Service Award. So that's open right now, and what it is it's a $1,000 award for any student that is not graduating this year. So please go ahead and distribute that to all your networks and go ahead and promote it, because we'd like to get as many applicants as we can. Sort of reflecting on, and in a very broad sense of service, doesn't have to be a physical, project within the different entities on campus, but service in general that you can elaborate on and what you've learned as a student. And then that'll be due, and then we will have the award ceremony for that. It's actually being incorporated into the CSC end of year banquet because so many people attend that. In the past, the award ceremony was sort of a not as well attended event, so we wanted to make it more of a formality and invite Bob Michaels and administrators to it. So please share that, apply for it as well if you are returning next year and not graduating. Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to our administrative representatives. Excuse me, Roy's not present, Dr. Miller.
I've been updating the list of committees to which you make appointments to reflect those that don't exist anymore, so that next year's president doesn't make existing committees that are defunct, and make sure that it's comprehensive. So when that project is complete, I'll provide that so that whoever is the next president can start making appointments with a good list.
Thank you. Okay, any questions?
Okay, we'll go on Michael Starr. Okay, Christine Alton. Okay, and then Hannah. Okay, we'll go ahead to our fund allocations, so the contingency programming.
There are two USAC officers that have had this past week. And the finance committee is requesting $60 for our spring underwear event spring shop. And the student wellness commission is requesting funds for a room run walk. The total amount required for under 5 and SWC is $22,532.92. The total amount requested is $921.13, and the amount that the finance committee recommended is $430.
Okay, so I can entertain a motion to approve the allocation. Zach?
I move to approve the contingency allocation for USAC entities for $440.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Heather. Any discussion regarding the allocations? Seeing none, we'll go into a vote. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those against? And those abstaining? 1. To a 9-0-1 decision, the contingency programming allocation for USAC offices has been approved. So next up, we'll have our student groups.
There are also 31 student groups that apply. They required $104,777.23. And again, this amount was really high because of culture nights and because of relation wage. The amount requested was $34,103.44, and the amount the finance committee recommended was $7,990.
Okay. I can entertain a motion. Do you want to say the amount one more time?
$7,990.
I move to approve the contingency allocation for $7,990.
Okay, second by Heather. Any discussion regarding the allocations? Seeing none, we'll go into a vote. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those against and those abstain. To a 10-0-0 vote, the contingency programming allocation for student groups is approved. Thank you. Next up, we have our EDP for defenders.
So we have 3 applications, from this week, only 2 of them I'd like to approve. One was, J Street USAC. Now, the applicant applied, 3 weeks before the conference, and I just got word that, the conference happened last week, so we have dispersed any funds, but we run into the same issue we did last week.
Okay.
With hesitancy since they applied actually before the deadline, I just like to approve and allocate the funds, but obviously we haven't allocated the funds yet. And then, the consortium of the universities for global health. So, that's, the amount is, 300 for global health, and I'm sure. I believe 450.
Do you believe for that? Okay, great. Okay, so this is a consent item, so are there any questions or objections?
You said the same situation is that they applied before the event happened, but you're approving approving their funds afterwards.
Okay.
Is this, so on the applications, it states a hard deadline 3 weeks before the program, because I believe that.
Yes.
Did they say 3 weeks before the program?
In this case, yes, unlike the last.
Oh, so you're saying it's different?
This case is different but similar to last, in that my office is still sending me, them for approval after the conference is happened, but they applied.
3 weeks before?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Is that clear to everyone? So the deadline is still being upheld.
So now it's my staff.
Okay. So this is a consent item, so are there any objections or more questions regarding the EDP for difference? Dr. Ellen?
Did I hear you say there was one group that applied that you were not funding? And if
Yes.
so, can you just talk about the reasons they
Sure.
rejected?
So they were applying to attend, it was a actuarial society conference, and we didn't need to go within commission to grant, because the grant covers, cultural conferences, advocacy conferences, and direct. We checked that.
Okay. Any other questions regarding the EDP for defenders fund? Okay, seeing none, it's been approved by consent. So we have no more fund allocations. We have one old business item for JRF updates. So Ian?
Great. So I know it's been a while since we discussed JRF, and I think in the interim, I think the location's changed. There's been a couple updates. So just wanted to give you a couple of updates as to the location of the event, any sponsorships that you might have ascertained, and sort of what the timeline is moving forward.
Okay, so quick update. This is from the executive producer of JRF. We are now in Sunset Rec. There is a smaller stage and less vendors. So that does, that's given us a smaller area. The total costs, including facilities, talent, marketing, insurance, are close to the original total facilities cost that would have been for MAF. So now, if you think about it, it's like MAF was one facilities cost, and that was just facilities. Now we're able to use the funds essentially for everything in terms of marketing, talent, insurance, all the things for the festival that are necessary. So it made an incredible improvement in our revenue switch. Several artists are interested in the festival despite the low budget. I know there was an idea of like marketing and getting people to come out because now it's switching to student artists. But because of the venue switch, we actually have more money than we projected for talent. And so, but a lot of these artists, because they understand the history of this festival and its 30-year legacy, and have themselves been attending this festival for 30 years, they really didn't care for the fact that we would only be able to do them less. And for them, it was the richness of the history that would bring them back, and they were willing to pay the lower honor. They said, well, they love what this festival does and what it means. And so, that being said, I actually talked to Pam Sizer and Chris Kukulo, and they both have said that this was the first time in 5 years that Jazz Rating wouldn't be going into the red, and that it was a success that we were able to turn around in 1 year. So, actually, for Sunset, facilities cost is only $50,478.42. Whereas NEF's cost was $148,406.48. So as I promised y'all, we wouldn't go into the red, and we did.
Thanks.
Any other questions regarding the agenda item? Okay. Seeing that, we have,
I've had the opportunity to go on a walkthrough for Sunset Rec with the JRF crew, and I've been to JRF for many years, and I'm really excited to actually see this venue. I actually like the idea that there's kind of these multiple spaces and different places that you can go and kind of explore throughout the festival, and I'm just really excited for this year's JRF. I'm really proud of all the students, staff, and all the work they did to not only bring down the cost of this event, but also make it, I think it's going to be amazing, so I'm just really proud of that. I just want to say, great job.
any other questions? Okay. So no new business, so we'll go ahead into announcements. So I sent around that doc early last week, so hopefully everyone had a chance to fill it in. We're going to open the floor for any new additions anyone may have. Additionally, as a member of counties is having a vote presented to entities put on the website too. So are there any questions regarding, or any other updates that anyone has regarding announcements? Yeah.
If you all are free tomorrow, the anniversary of my student day is tomorrow here in Mount Clarence Lawn, 4 to 6 p.m. So it'll be a lot of fun if you guys have time.
So this week is SWC the annual Career Health Week. I provided you all a Facebook event. There are 18 weeks, or 18 events going on last week. It's really exciting. A big factor, a big part of this week, and on a standalone self is the Wilson Sport. If you have a chance to walk through Wilson Plaza, you'll see a bunch of teachers come out with different markers and different messages on it. I think you all know what the clothing display is, but just so you have the clothing display, it is a display for survivors to essentially have a medium to find their voice and express their stories or whatever they'd like to share for their identity and for their stories. And so if you have the time, please stop by there. It is there's always going to be a SWC group. It's like closure members there. There's going to be a tent that's closed for people if they would like to make t-shirts. There's going to be again, just like the BCC members there to talk to as well. And I think it's a very powerful moving experience to go time going. And I think it's moving and recycling. So I really encourage you to get yourself into it. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Any other last minute announcements to add? Yep.
Friday is Earth Day, and E3 is organizing their annual Earth Day fair. So this session will be out there promoting water conservation, getting more out there about our water sustainability project from working with UCLA facilities for so stop by. I think it's going to be in Wilson Plaza this year, which is going to be awesome.
And another thing just related to announcements. So our awesome new communications director has actually made a bit of a resource guide about marketing. So I'll send it on to you all if you want to forward it onto your marketing or communications directors in your own offices. Just a way to coordinate efforts, a way to utilize social media marketing most effective as possible. Just bullet she made that, so I'll forward that out to all of you. And again, there are contact information if there's anything USAC-wide announcements, programming, initiatives that you're doing that you'd like to be advertised for a Facebook page. Go ahead and reach out to Gilma. So, any other last minute announcements? Okay, seeing that, I can entertain a motion to adjourn. Zach?
I'm going to join the meeting.
Is there a second? Second by Zach. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those against? Those against? And those abstain? 10-0-0 vote. I adjourn the meeting at 7:50. Okay. Even if you can turn off USAC Live for us, please. And then we'll go ahead and do the photo talk. And Stephanie can pass around these things.